Hey fashionistas, welcome back to Salemfashion YouTube channel. Today we're going to be cutting this beautiful boubou kaftan with shoulder pleat, so watch carefully to the end to see the end result. Let's get straight into it. So guys, to begin, I went ahead to fold my fabric into 4, as you can see. Okay, so the first thing we're going to take is to take half of the shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches for me. I'm going to indicate it right here, and next I'm going to add extra 5 inches. You can add 6 inches, and this is going to be for the shoulder pleat. So from that 5 inches that you indicated, I'm going to go ahead and take the full length of the sleeve, okay, from that point, and that was about 12 inches for me. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and come down by 12 inches for the sleeve opening, because the shoulder does not have a side seam, so we don't need to come down by 1.5 inches for shoulder slope. Okay, after taking that, I'm going to go ahead and come in by 5 inches for the sleeve definition right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and indicate 3 inches for the back neck width. That's because we're cutting the back and the front together. Okay, so I'll just indicate for the back first on both fabrics. Now I'll come down by 1.5 inches for the neck depth. I'll use my curve ruler to connect the curve. So after that, now I'm going to go ahead and indicate my hip depth, that is from my shoulder down to my hip, okay, to get my hip line. So after taking that measurement, now I'm just going to go ahead and indicate it again to get a straight line, and then I'll use my straight ruler to draw out a straight line. Now this is going to serve as my hip line. Okay, so next I'm going to determine how long I want my boubou to be. It is a very long boubou, about 60 something inches. So after taking that measurement of the length, I'm going to go ahead and indicate on that lower part my hip circumference divide by 4 plus extra 4 inches, and then I'll come again as well on the hip line and indicate that same measurement. That's my hip circumference divided by 4 plus extra 4 inches, and then I'm going to connect the both lines together to form a square, like you can see. So next I'm going to go ahead now with my free hand and just curve out that armhole curve right there, because our armhole is not square. Okay, I'm just trying to curve it out, and then I'll just use my free hand to create that cowl effect. Okay, I don't want my cowl to be too big, so I'm just going to just create that mild curve right there to just form my cowl kaftan. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and cut. So after cutting it out, guys, this is what it is looking like. As you can see, the shoulders are joined together. That's because we did not come down by 1 inch shoulder slope. Okay, and the neckline that we took is also for back and front. Now we're going to go ahead and begin to take the measurement for our pleat on the shoulder. So I'm just trying to indicate my shoulder measurement. Okay, so you remember that after taking our shoulder measurement, we added 5 inches for the shoulder pleat. Now I'm trying to get that point of the 5 inches, and that was it for me. So now I will mark it there and get the midpoint of that 5 inches. So by the time we sew our pleat, this is what it is going to be looking like. So that 5 inches that I added, I just got the midpoint. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead now to define it out for you to see really very clearly. So I'll use my pin to put on that point that is from my shoulder point. Now remember that it is from that shoulder point that I added 5 inches. So from that shoulder point, I inserted a pin, and then from the point where the 5 inches stop, I added another pin. Then now I lifted it up to just mark a point, so that the measurement is going to reflect on the back side of my dress. Okay, so now I'm also going to go ahead and get the midpoint on that back part. You can see that it is equal with the one in front. Okay, so I'll just use my straight ruler to just draw it out so that I will know where all the measurements are. Now I'll just go ahead and square them out with my straight ruler. Then next, after taking it, now I'm going to go ahead and flip my fabric as well to the other side and also draw out that straight line right there. Okay guys, so after taking the measurement, you can see how it is looking like. Now you can see that it is just on one side of the dress. I'm going to go ahead and ensure that I take the same measurement on the other side of the dress. So like we did earlier, I will still insert pins on those points, and I'll use my chalk to just mark it out. So you can see now that it's reflecting on both sides of the dress. I'll repeat the same process here. So now after I am done, this is what it is looking like. The next thing I need to go ahead now and do is to go ahead and open up my fabric very wide. Let me just spread it out for you guys to see. So can you see that all the straight lines are equal and they are straight? Okay, this method is the easiest method for me. Okay guys, so now after that, I'm going to go ahead to pleat. Now to pleat, you are going to go ahead and pinch that midpoint line. Just pinch it up, okay, and just fold the other two lines on the side to meet each other. Okay, as you can see now, can you see that the pleat has already been created? That is how easy it is. Okay, so next I'm going to go ahead and use my pin to just secure it down so that it will not move. Okay, so this is what the pleat is going to be looking like. Now we will take it over to the sewing machine and sew on that straight line down. It can face any side. Once you make that pleat, it is going to fall on your shoulder after you sew. So I'll also pinch it on this other second side of the dress, and I'll pin it down and just create my pleat. So we'll go over to the sewing machine now and stitch it, and I'll be right back. So guys, after stitching, this is what the pleat is looking like. As you can see, it is very easy. Okay, so now the next thing that we need to go ahead to do now is to separate the back and the front, so that I'm going to cut out the front neckline, because the front neckline is a V neckline and it also has a lapel in front. So after arranging my fabric like this, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead now and use my tape measure, and I will come down by 8 inches for the front V neckline. Okay, so I'll just make that mark right there, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect it back into the neckline to meet that 3 inches. That first neckline that we made, okay, is going to still stop on that point. So now after that, I'm going to go ahead now and be deducting 2 inches from that front all the way down, because we're going to be cutting out a lapel to attach to that front. So I'll just go ahead and mark all that 2 inches all the way down. I will square it out, and then we'll go ahead now on that neck point. I'm just going to blend in that cuff to meet that point. Okay, after that, now we'll go ahead and cut. So after cutting it out, this is what the front is going to be looking like. The front is going to be having 2 pieces now, okay, as you can see. So next, I'm going to go ahead and pick the neckline on the back and notch it to get the midpoint. Okay, after notching it, I'm going to get the midpoint, and then I will take my measurement round. I will measure from that midpoint all the way down. That is taking the entire measurement from that neckline all the way to the full length of the dress to cut out my lapel. So after cutting out my lapel, this is what it's looking like. It is really very long. It consumed the entire tip. I'm going to go ahead now, unfold my lapel. Is going to be 3 inches, because ½ inch is going to be for seam allowance on both sides of the front neckline. Okay, so as well, I went ahead to iron a stay on the lapel, as you can see. Now to stitch it, guys, remember that the front neckline we came down by 8 inches. Okay, now you are going to go ahead and get the midpoint of your lapel. Now 8 inches that we came down by plus 3 inches for the back neckline will give me 11 inches. I went ahead to mark it from the midpoint of the lapel down, and I marked a point. So the front is going to be having a slit. Okay, so I came down here, or from that point I came up by 22 inches, because 2 inches will be for hemming at the lower part, then 20 inches will be for my slit. So I marked it. Now from the 11 inches I mark up there to the point of the 22 inches down there, I will go ahead and stitch it on my sewing machine. So after stitching that point, you are going to be having something looking like this. So now I'm going to go ahead, as I'm just trying to fold it into 2 for you to see what it is looking like after you stitch it down. Okay, so now that is my slit point. Remember that we came up by 2.22 inches for the slit, and then I came down by 11 inches for the neckline opening, and then we stitch the remaining part, and that's what it is looking like. So we're going to be attaching this now to our dress. Okay, so remember that we've notched the neckline. I'll go ahead now just to also get the midpoint, because there's an attachment on my lapel. I already have a midpoint right there. I'll attach it to the midpoint on the neckline of my dress, and then I'll go ahead and pin it down. So all you need to do now is to just go ahead and pin it all the way down from the front side. On both sides, you're going to be pinning it all the way to the ending of the dress with your pin by ½ inch on both sides. So you'll be left with 2 inches now, which is the 2 inches that we deducted earlier. It will replace the 2 inches that we deducted. Okay, so after that, now I will go ahead and stitch it down. After stitching it, I will sew the side and hem the lower part, and we've come to the end.